Hello you, it's me. And Toddy One-Skip said something funny in one of her latest videos that I don't know why it amused me. It shouldn't amuse me, but I thought I would just say what it was. She was talking about how we are more we find it more important to fix Dee Blanchard's legacy, that we want it to be correct. And of course it's not correct because of all the lies, in my opinion, that and have been proven that Gypsy Rose Blanchard had said. She says, we care more about Dede's legacy than Gypsy. Well, of course we do. Gypsy cared so little about her mother, and it is, I believe, my thoughts, my feelings, not necessarily facts, is that Gypsy was bored of her mom, didn't want to have to take care of her mom because her mom was very ill toward the end. And I think that's why it was much easier for Gypsy just to get rid of her. She couldn't give a shit about Dede Blanchard's legacy. Of course we all care more. Gypsy cared so little that she offed her mom for it. She doesn't care. She will lie, cheat, and steal, in my opinion, for herself, to make herself happy. She doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. That's how Gypsy is. Doesn't care. So yeah, we do care more about Dede Blanchard's legacy because we want the truth. We want Dede Blanchard to rest in peace. Not believe all the things that had been proven to be wrong. Was Dede a perfect person? I don't think I can name anybody who is a perfect person. But I think a lot of it was on Gypsy, not on Dede. There's been a lot of suggested things that, speculations, that Dede never stole anything. It was Gypsy who did it, and then Dede covered up for it. Although, I could see her Dede writing a few bad checks because she was desperate to try to take care of her daughter. And by the way Gypsy acts, do you think that Gypsy was ever denied anything? Gypsy is nothing more but a spoiled brat. Disgustingly so. She cared so little about the mother that quit her job to take care of her, devoted every waking moment to her and everything that she could do to make her life happy, because she didn't even know that Gypsy was going to live for that long. But when she got inconvenient for Gypsy, my opinion, Gypsy had enough. She didn't want to take care of her mother. She did not want to give an ounce to her mother what her mother gave to her. That's despicable. The crime that she committed is horrendous. The way that she did it is horrendous. But the fact that she cared so little for somebody who looked at you like you were the world. Dede Blanchard looked at Gypsy like she was the world. And Gypsy couldn't give a shit. It's sad. But yeah, of course we care about Dede's legacy way beyond what Gypsy doesn't give a shit. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about her mother. She doesn't care about making awful comments regarding her mother. Little backhanded comments. She doesn't care. She has no regret. You can see it. Every time she talks about her mother, it just gets worse and worse. Her mother tied her up. Her mother only gave her broth every other day. On and on and on. Her mother wasn't a good mother, but she vows to be a better one. Gypsy, in your dreams, you couldn't be half the mother that your mother was to you. She did everything for you. Have you ever dedicated yourself to anything or anyone besides yourself? I don't think so. My opinion. But the only person you dedicate yourself to is you. Even though you have a daughter, the baby Aurora. That's your responsibility. And yet, nothing. Nothing. And I still love the comments. Nobody knows. I mean, there are some people who are for sure. Aurora the baby exists. Aurora the baby does not exist. But what we've seen, it doesn't look like there's a baby there at all. And that could just be because that's what she wants to show. But most people who focus on themselves so much, wouldn't they be proud to show off their accessories? I mean, isn't that what Aurora the baby is to Gypsy? You know? Getting that mommy connection again. I mean, I guess that's just out the window. She doesn't give a shit about that either. She doesn't care. I don't know why, because she would get, in my opinion, at least people who don't know how much a lying piece of shit she is, in my opinion, they would love to see her as a mommy blogger and see the baby. Not necessarily the baby's face. In fact, you don't even have to show the baby. Just stories about the baby. I mean, Gypsy does love to tell a good story. Am I right? So, why isn't she doing that? She never seems to do anything that she could actually be decent at. Telling funny stories about a baby that's yours is a great thing to do. But she doesn't do it, which makes me wonder, does she have any stories to tell? If there is a baby, does she watch the baby? Is she even around the baby? Because it doesn't look like it. So there's a lot of questions like this that come up. So I wonder what she's cooking up next. You know, and is she gonna include Aurora the baby in it? Is Ken gonna be there? You know, they're supposed to be moving, and so that might be why they're radio silent at the moment, except for these little parodies of other channels that, you know, talk about Gypsy, which honestly, they're not that bad. I'm not sure why people would take offense to it. I mean, what do you care what Gypsy thinks of you anyway? You know, I'm lucky enough to fly under the radar. I'm okay with that. But, I mean, I don't think she's not doing any harm. At least that's a good thing. She's not really hurting anybody. She's just, you know, being nasty about other people like she always is. Said that before. But maybe it's because of the move. Maybe we'll get videos of the move. Maybe that's what she's doing. She's filming it all so they can show their move to Florida or Texas or wherever they end up going. Or maybe she's just taking another vacation. I mean, she did want to, like, I think she wanted to go to Sweden or something. She's going to go do that. She talked to Ryan about going to Germany. I mean, she obviously wants to travel. I don't know if she would actually be able to travel. I don't know how that works when you're a felon. I think there might be some places she can't go. But I guess we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. I don't know. Nothing she's doing right now is of interest to me. I haven't seen anything. But getting back to the topic, yes, we care far more about Dede's legacy than Gypsy does. Gypsy doesn't care at all. Which, it's got to be frustrating to dedicate yourself to somebody who doesn't care. It doesn't matter to them. Drop you in a blink of an eye. You don't matter anymore. Boom, that's it. And then just slander. I'm surprised that the Petrie family hasn't sued Gypsy for slander. But I guess some of it might be hard to prove. I don't know. That would be something interesting to see. You know, catching Gypsy out in all these lies, as many creators have. Slander would be a great, enough of this slander of Munchausen by proxy that isn't true. Sue her. Maybe that'll shut her up. She's already broke. I don't know if you could get any money out of her. At least that's what she would have us believe. Who knows what's the truth on that? Although I wouldn't be surprised. She just spends money right, left, and sideways, has no idea how to earn money, how to save money, and how to put it towards important things like a nice home. She doesn't really understand that. She just thinks money grows on trees and it'll just keep coming. It'll just keep growing. But it's not. Nobody cares. Most people don't care. In my real life, I asked, I don't know, 5 or 6 people. I know this is anecdotal, but I asked 5 or 6 people that I know, do you know anything about Gypsy Rose Blanchard? And not one of them knew anything. She thinks she's a superstar. She's not. She's a superstar. My tongue got tied and it sounded funny, so I said it. But yeah, she's nothing. So it'll interesting to watch her descend into madness. What won't be fun is what happens during that madness. That's, who in her life is going to be inconvenient enough that she will remove them from their life or attempt to. That I'm not looking forward to, which is why letting a murderer out of prison so early, without any remorse, without having learned anything, and still thinking that they are privileged enough to get everything they want and no one else matters but them, that's why it's a danger to let them out of prison. Because they're a danger to society. Because who knows who her sights might be set upon to take the wrath of Gypsy again. It could absolutely happen because of the fact that there is no remorse. She has learned nothing. I mean, that could be the reason why, allegedly, because I don't know if it's true or not, that Rod wants her as far away from him and his family as possible. Could you blame him? I don't blame him. I don't care if you came from me. If you are Gypsy Rose Blanchard, I don't want you around me either. I don't want you around my family or my friends either, because you're dangerous. You don't think like most people do. You think in dangerous measures. It doesn't matter to you if somebody is out of your life and by any means necessary, as we see from her crime. Why would anybody want that person around them? In fact, it's very much like the controversy, not to the same degree, mind you, but if you look at somebody like Amber Lynn Reed, man, the tongue lashing that, pun intended, that her aunt gave. Just sick of Amber and her destructive ways and personality. She is so right. I have listened to the rant that, I think it's Aunt Tammy. I've listened to her rant on 3 or 4 different channels more than once. I watched Apathetic Facts twice in a row. I watched the Ankles version of it. I watched Bottles version of it. And I will later be watching Mr. Snowflake Under the Hood's version of it. Because it is so good. It is such a great rant. It literally puts Gypsy Rose Blanchard in, or not Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Amberlynn Reed, both 3 names, and it puts Amberlynn Reed in her place, and then to see how her mind works to get out of it, amazing. It is something that students of psychology should study, because it is so interesting to watch how her mind flips and turns things around and makes it so, oh, she's not ashamed. She did nothing wrong. And all I could think of is, you should be ashamed. You should be disgusted with yourself. Because many of us, myself included, have issues. Okay? We have problems. But as Aunt Tammy said, she worked for at least 16 years to try to help alleviate some of those issues that she had, so that she could better communicate with other people, have long-lasting relationships. It's hard work. And Amber will never put in that work. At 34 years old, which I think is the same age as Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Amber will never put in the work because she can't see that she has done anything wrong. She twists and turns everything. That is, in my opinion, a true narcissist. That's what they do. With Gypsy, it's a little bit different because she's willing to go further. She's willing to kill to get someone out of the way. As far as I am aware, except for some of her pets, which she doesn't deem to be important and is willing to throw away, it is to a lesser degree, although, the attachment I know I've had to my pets is extreme, just like if they were a person. They are a person to me. They're my child, In a lot of ways, I see my cats like that. They're definitely a part of my family. So I'm not lessening that. I'm just saying it's different to throw a cat out in, freezing temperatures. It's disgusting. And she should go to jail for that. If there were proof and evidence that she actually did that on purpose, she should go to jail for that. Because that's disgusting and despicable. How dare you harm an innocent creature like that? But Amber doesn't care. Because they're just a thing. They are an accessory. And she can do whatever she wants with her accessory. Which is just like Gypsy. They are so much alike, it's unbelievable. But although I would not probably have done what Aunt Tammy did, I get it. Because Amber needed to be told off. She needed to confront the truth. She never will. But man, did it feel good to listen to Tammy confront Amber with the truth and not let her get away with bullshit. And this is what I hope that can be achieved with Gypsy Rose Blanchard as well. That we continue to confront her with the truth, with the FOIAs, with the court documents, with everything until she has nothing left to say, until she is as quiet as Amberlynn Reed was in her own life. Because Tammy took over, and Amber needed that. She deserved that. Again, will anything come of it? 99%, most likely not. Same with Gypsy. But with Gypsy, it's not just her family. I think her family has made it pretty clear they don't want her around. That is just alleged. I don't know if that's for sure. I don't know if that's been confirmed. So I just want to make that straight. But if they did, it would make sense. It would make sense for anybody associated with Gypsy at some point or another to say, get away from me. You're dangerous. I am sick of your games and your bullshit. Go away. She needs that. We need to make sure that everybody in her life does that. Maybe at some point, you hope at some point, both Gypsy and Amber would at some point say, maybe I need to go get some help. Maybe it is me. Now, will either one of them? Probably not. Because, once again, neither of them think they're doing anything wrong. They twist everything so that they are always the victim or they are always the hero. But they are never the person that starts it, even though they always are. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's true. If Amber didn't tell lies on her videos about her aunt would never have had that confrontation. If Gypsy had told the truth about her crime and about her childhood and all of that, she probably would still be in prison, away from society, which is where she belongs, and maybe she could actually do something to help herself and help others. Wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, look at the Menendez guys. I remember them very, very well. Eric and Lyle, I think. They've been to prison for many years, and they've started really great projects and things to help other prisoners, especially other prisoners who have been harmed by adults when they were minors. That's the nicest way I can think to say that. Now, do I think that they are heroes? I don't know. I don't know anything about them. I'm still shocked at the revelation that they might have actually been harmed in an inappropriate way by their father. Because when everything first happened, that came up and they said that was all lies. So, I don't know enough about it. I just remember initially when it happened and all the talk and conversation about it. But if they have now proven that there was a lot of that going on, that explains a lot of what they did and their desperation and why they did what they did. That's completely different from someone like Gypsy or even someone like Amber. Amber just makes stuff up and then pretends to be upset and cry. Gypsy does the same thing. If you watch her, you can see her crying 1 minute and then suddenly the tears stop and she's laughing or she's talking normal. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It infuriates me. But what we need to do as citizens is to confront them and let them know, you're full of shit. I know you're full of shit, allegedly. I don't want to hear it and I don't want to associate with you. You know, people are already doing that. Amber probably has the fewest people in her corner ever, and eventually she'll have none, because that's what happens when you act that way. Gypsy, probably the same thing. The only problem is that Gypsy's fury is a lot different. Not that much different. But I don't think Amber would actually physically harm a person the way Gypsy did. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. She has hit people, allegedly. She has been really nasty, allegedly. They're not that far from each other, to be honest with you, which is why I make comparisons between the two of them on many occasions. I forgot myself for a moment when I actually was defending Amber. I forgot how horrible she was. It didn't take long for me to realize. And same with Gypsy. She has her cute and little quirky things that she does that everybody just loves. But that's not her. That's not the real her. And you can't let those things sidetrack you. They're not good people. They're not. They both should be taken out of society and put into some kind of treatment until, it's hard because there isn't any magic pill for narcissism or sociopathy or psychopathy. There's no specific treatment. There are treatments that are being developed. It's just a slow process because people are so horrible with these antisocial behaviors that nobody wants to help them. They just want to put them away. And you can't blame them. You can't blame them. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say about it, about Gypsy and us caring about her mother's legacy more than Gypsy. And that's what I wanted to say about Amber as well. Tammy, her Aunt Tammy, laid it in and told the truth. And I hope that felt good for her. I hope that alleviated some of the heaviness that she had on her shoulders. Because it sounds like she has had that heaviness on her shoulders for a very long time. Not just with Amber, but with her mother. I hope she's feeling a little lighter now and feeling a little better about things. I really do. And I can also hope that Amber and Gypsy both go into treatment, go into some kind of a mental facility and stay there until they understand what they've done and actually feel remorseful, actually want to make amends and be better. Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be such an amazing turnaround. I think that both of them would be instantly more popular because they wouldn't be so horrible. Anyway, thank you for listening. That's all I've got to say.